People, tubers, welcome to my channel. Welcome to Bucky's View. Big one today. We've got a big one. We've got an important one. We've got the game in hand that we've all been waiting for. And yeah, this game in hand is something that I would say at this particular point in the season is everything. You know, Arsenal versus Everton. Now, we're gonna talk. Of course, we're gonna talk about some of the match stats from both, some of the season stats from both teams. We're gonna talk about home and away form. We're gonna talk about the managers, of course, what they've been saying in terms of pre-match press conferences. And we're just gonna discuss overall thoughts. How are you guys feeling? What do you guys think is gonna transpire in today's game in hand? But Arsenal versus Everton, of course, we've got a evening kickoff at the Emirates, and look, I can't see nothing but a win. I'll be real. But then again, it's a game of football, and you just never know. Everton, they've obviously been super poor this season. I think they've only got one away win this season, if I'm correct. I'll have a look at the stats. We'll look at the stats, and we most certainly don't want to make it two away wins for them. Arsenal's the type of side that sometimes you just get these weird scenarios where it seems like we give the opponent exactly what they want when they want it at the perfect time. If they have a striker that hasn't scored in 8 games, it's very likely that he's going to score in the 9th game because we're playing against Arsenal. But listen, none of that. This is going to be a positive preview. We are on the up. We have bounced back from the sort of challenging period that we've had in terms of defeats and draws. The players look like they're getting back onto form. The manager is it looks like he's calmed down a little bit more. He's embraced the concept of just staying a little bit more calm and staying a little bit more composed. It's very important as that transmits to the players. So yeah, guys, look, I see nothing but a dub. I see nothing but a win today, and I think it's gonna be a comfortable win. I do believe it's gonna, before the first goal is scored, it's gonna be nervy. I think it's gonna be kind of, that kind of sort of game where both teams are not really trying to do too much. Everyone's just trying to settle into the game. But I think when we score the first goal, I think it's gonna be over from that point onwards. Sean Dyche, that whole Sean Dyche new manager bounce effect, that's all finished now. It shouldn't affect us in any way, shape or form. And yeah, man, I see nothing but a W. But if we look in here, if we kind of dive in a little bit more, guys, let me just bring up some interesting stats for you guys. So I've got our league form, home and away. I don't know what's going on with our home form. It could be much better. We sit 4th in terms of points gained from from home games. Arsenal on 26 points. So we've got 26 points from home games. It's not bad. 11 games played, 8 games won, 2 games drawn, and one, obviously, that one defeat. But if you look at our away form, it's the best in the country. It's number 1. It's 31 points. We've accumulated in terms of away games this season. 13 games played, 10 wins, 1 draw, 2 defeats. But it's the most points a team has taken away from home this season. Arsenal sit first. So we need to kind of nail down this home form. We need to make sure that the home form is kind of reflecting the away form. The away form is form of champions. You can't deny that. 31 points, that's massive. If we kind of continue on that trajectory, I can't see how we're not going to take this league. We're not going to win this Premier League. But all in all, if anything, even most important is obviously the home form. You need to make your home stadium, your home matches as difficult as they can be for the opponent. You need to kind of they're like statement wins when you're playing at home, especially when you're chasing a title. And I think that we really need to kind of solidify. I think tonight we will see a much better sort of resounding performance defensively, offensively at home than we've seen in the previous couple of weeks. So all in all, it's not the best in terms of stats, but we're most certainly not the worst, of course, as well. And there's room for improvement there. I think the players, as they're getting back into form as we are slowly starting to see more of an integration to the likes of Fabio Vieira. Fabio Vieira is the type of player that will eat up defenses and midfields in the Emirates. At home. Maybe you don't have to. Maybe you don't have to be as rigid when you're playing at home. You can be a bit more expressive. The players, want to play football. The fans want to be entertained. So again, start Vieira ahead of Xhaka. I don't think he will do that. But I feel like Xhaka needs to sit one game out without starting. I feel like Xhaka needs to he just needs a game's rest, for him to be at his sharp best again. Because everyone, when you check it, everyone's kind of had a rest. Obviously, with the exemption of Saka, who's literally undroppable. I've said it many times. You just can't drop Bukayo Saka because he's such a linchpin in our team, in our squad. It's mad to drop him. And then if you drop him, who's really going to come and replace Bukayo Saka in that position? Do you know what I mean? Pepe couldn't do it. We just don't have the player to kind of, get in there now. So but with Granit is different. Granit needs a rest. Granit and we've got more or less, we can do things in Granit's position. We can put Zinchenko there. We can put Fabio Vieira there. We can even play Jorginho and play Partey there. Make him that more box to box, because I feel like Partey, a lot of the times the injuries come from him overstretching and over kind of playing, trying to cover that entire midfield. We know that that's his playing style. He plays like that because obviously he's agile enough and athletic enough to play like that. But at the same time, I feel as though that's where the injuries kind of come from. If you check it, Atletico Madrid, Partey wasn't really playing that defensive, the anchor man. He would kind of sit just in front of the anchor man and kind of box to box it and keep things ticking in a way. And you see much, his injury record was literally, it was almost non-existent at Atletico Madrid. And at Arsenal, he gets injured, like it's like a guaranteed injury every single season, through different periods of the season. It's guaranteed, like, Partey's going to get injured. So we need to definitely look at that. I think it's time for Arteta to start. Maybe not for this season, but for next season. Like, how can we get still the best out of Partey, but in terms of consistency and longevity, and staying injury free, and maybe holding down that anchor sort of defensive midfield position is what's obviously causing that, and is the problem, and can also be the solution. We'll move him out of there. We'll put him just in front. The only downside to that is obviously it will stifle people like Vieira's progress and people like Emil Smith-Rowe. If Emil Smith-Rowe is eventually and essentially going to play in the midfield. But all in all, I think that Jorginho and Partey, they're more experienced players. They're players that, for this business end of the season, that's who we need to be playing. If Xhaka's not going to start, and if Xhaka's eventually going to get a break, then play Jorginho and play Partey. Do you know what I mean? But just play Partey in front of Jorginho as opposed to sitting in the anchor. So yeah, in terms of obviously any particular match news or pre-match news, not much. I think everyone is pretty much fit. We've got the amazing news that Gabriel Jesus is nearing his return. He must be probably, I would say, 2-3 weeks away. I think he's doing light training. He's doing ball training. He's training with the squad. He's training by himself. I think Arteta's just saying, you know what, my boy, we don't even need to rush you. I want you full tilt. I want you firing on all cylinders. I want to make sure that when you come back, you're sharp. You feel fresh. Man's going to need you to do the scoring thing right now, because all of this dropping deep and all of the things he's doing is great. You can continue doing those things, but this is the business end now. And somebody like you, Gabriel, you know what it takes. Yeah, you've been there, you've done it, you've won the title, you've won the Premier League. You know it's business end. This is where you earn your money now. This is you. This is, you're the striker. You need to come back into the side and score goals, bro. Tuck them in. You understand? There's no beating around the bush. There's no in between, but maybe can he contribute into the team in this way? That's all fine. That's the basics. You got to do that anyway. You got to fight. You get me? You got to earn the right to play. You understand? So after all of that, it comes the most clinical thing for you and the most important thing for you, which is to score those goals. So if you're not ready for that at this moment in time, then fair play, But I feel as though this is the approach that Arteta's taken, and because he knows how important it is for Gabriel Jesus to come back, not only stay fit, but also, be sharp enough and be mentally and physically at a stage where, right, you're scoring goals now, you're finishing off these offensive plays, and you're actually converting these chances. I've got some interesting stats here. I've got some interesting sort of things to let you guys know. I think in terms of, like I said, injuries, everybody's more or less okay. Obviously, barring Gabriel Jesus. I don't think we're going to see Smith Rowe playing as well, but he's okay now. Smith Rowe is fully training with the squad. Smith Rowe will sit on the bench. Odegaard, as mentioned, has been talking to the media, and he's mentioned that this game here is a game that they want to get revenge. It's a kind of a thing where everybody was upset in that Everton defeat, in that away defeat at Goodison Park, and today, we're getting 3 points. Right? These men violated. These men played a mad game where they shut down the midfield. They were aggressive. They're trying to get to balls 50-50s first, but none of that today. Today we need to get on our job, and even Tomayasu's been on a media as well, on the media rounds, and he said we've learned a lot of things. The biggest one was we ran less than them. After the game, Mikel told us that we had to run extra hard first and foremost, because in that game we had run less than them. So, I always say, and people who obviously I speak to in regards to football, I always say you got to earn the right to play, and then you actually play. And earning the right to play means you fight first. Football is a fighting game. Obviously not physical fight, but you fight in a sense where you run. You get to 50-50s. You do all of the hard grit first. You do all of the hard stuff first, and then football then starts to kind of come out of the woodworks, and you see people expressing themselves naturally. But yeah, it would have been engraved into these players' heads that they need to play better. They need to run more than Everton. Everton, again, you kind of know why. That manager bounce from Sean Dyche. These men would have literally run through brick walls for him in that game. It was the first game back, but all in all, we need to rise up and overcome and do better. It's Emil Smith Rowe and Benjamin White in Arsenal training. So yeah, Emil Smith Rowe, could he have a little cameo today? Could he even maybe possibly start? It's the game in hand. You just don't know. I'm not gonna lie to you. We say predicted 11, preferred 11. What is it? At this moment in time, I know that obviously Mikel likes stability and he likes consistency. But you never know, he's been talking about rotation coming in the next few weeks and the next few games. So he has been saying it. I feel as though maybe it's now a case of, all right, cool. You kind of need to start to play. You kind of need to start to rotate. So I feel as though, look, we can say all day long that it's going to be the starting 11 that you kind of normally see on a weekend basis, but we've seen that he can rotate it, and I do think Trossard's going to start up front again. The fluidity you saw in that front three, you just don't get that with Eddie Nketiah. I think Eddie Nketiah will start from the bench, and we'll keep Trossard, but you never know, there might be another surprise element there. There might be a situation where Smith Rowe starts ahead of Xhaka, or Fabio Vieira starts ahead of Xhaka, or he might start Jorginho and he might play Partey with Jorginho just to get Partey back into kind of. It's a difficult one. It's a difficult one to kind of predict. To be honest with you, I'll be real with you. If this wasn't the game in hand, this was a normal sort of a weekend match day game, I would have said he's gonna pretty much do what he's been doing. But it's difficult. It's tricky to see what Partey's on the fringes. He's there, but he's not there. He's been training a lot. He's been training. He hasn't been training a lot. But he's in amongst the squad. So it's difficult to kind of say for sure. This is what's going to happen, or that's what's going to transpire. But yeah, all in all, be scared, Premier League. Be very scared. Gabriel Jesus returning very, very soon. All in all, we're looking forward to this game. I'm looking forward to this game. I'm not gonna talk too much in terms of everything else, but I will create a post game review video, so we'll keep it there, guys. And I just want to quickly say that we need this win, Arsenal, so please don't let us down. It's a home game. It's a 5-pointer if we win, 5 points clear, level on games with Man City. And these are the games that if you are going to be champions, you simply win. There's no two ways about it, Arsenal. You simply win at home versus Everton, who have been so poor this season, relegation fighting the whole season. They've beaten us in their ground. And we got to do the business. We have to absolutely do the business. I predict a 2-0 win to the Arsenal at home. Again, I'm not going to do starting 11 predictions or anything like that, because I think it's going to be difficult to say exactly what's going to be the starting 11. Ultimately, if I was going to put my hand on it, I would say it's going to be the exact same one as the game last week, the game versus Leicester. But essentially, you never know. I feel like Granit Xhaka is due a rest. That's why it's difficult to kind of determine exactly who, what the lineup is going to be, or who's going to replace Xhaka, or is Jorginho going to continue in the starting 11? Is he going to put Partey in there? We know Mikel Arteta likes to be loyal to the players that he likes, and obviously Partey is one of those players that he likes clearly. For me personally, I'll keep Jorginho there. As I said, I'll keep Jorginho there, and I'll put someone like Fabio Vieira in the midfield and give Xhaka a rest. So that's what I'll do. And everywhere else, every other position, pretty much, they kind of pick themselves. So you have Ramsdale in goal. You've got obviously Zinchenko in the left. You've got left fullback. You've got Gabriel, left side centre back. You've got William Saliba, right side centre back. You've got Benny Blanco, midfield. Again, that's where the conundrum and the headache for Mikel Arteta is going to be. But in terms of the front three, there's a no-brainer. Trossard, centre, Saka on the right, and of course Martinelli on the left, people. But yeah, a 2-0 win I predict for Arsenal. Come on, you Gunners. Listen, I'm telling you, man. 3 points and nothing more, nothing less. It's going to be an interesting one. 7:45 kickoff at the Emirates Stadium. Come on, boys, don't let me down. Let's do this.